Welcome to the 44th video in the series, Foundations of Communist Organizing. Today we'll be going over the 1957 piece by Bordiga, The Fundamentals of Revolutionary Communism. I've subtitled this, Invariant Doctrine Combats Opportunist Modernizers and Bourgeois Contamination. There are three primary enemies of the revolution. 1. Deniers, who are outspoken anti-communists. 2. Falsifiers, which includes social democrats, anarchists, and so on. And 3. Modernizers, which include leftists who claim to have found new pathways, breaking with invariance. Among these three is in fact the falsifiers and modernizers which are most harmful, in the same vein that the white moderate were more harmful to the black civil rights movement, as identified by Martin Luther King Jr. than the KKK and open bigots. The modernizers tend to seek connection with the petty bourgeoisie, who are, at this stage of capitalism, more reactionary than the big bourgeoisie. The party needs to resist these trends internally and externally, helping develop the proletariat's revolutionary ideology to justify the seizure of the state and political power. Currently, the proletariat itself holds bourgeois ideology, born of its existence in bourgeois society. And so, the party must develop systems to expel bourgeois ideological influences, which non-proletarian elements introduce or hold. Doing such also means that the party is able to set non-proletarians within the party at the same level as the proletariat within it, thus overcoming workerist or laborist tendencies, refusing to determine placement within it based on mechanistic relation to production in society. However, the party should also be careful of working with groups, for example, white workers or other such privileged strata, that will, under poor conditions of struggle, break with the revolution regardless of their proletarian character. Examples of bourgeois ideological influence include, for example, liberal ideology of liberation, which is ultimately synonymous with the liberation of the bourgeoisie and their class interests. Anarchism, Libertarianism, Stalinism, and so on are fundamentally classical revolutionary bourgeois liberalism combined with something else. This quote-unquote something else confuses the workers, and through the combination attaches them to bourgeois conceptions. Opportunism is itself a social fact, a manifestation of compromise between classes produced due to the immediate economic interests, which drive purely economic organizations like unions to obtain reformist ends, or revolutionary leaders being driven to the cause of reformism by the immediatist calls of their supporters. Despite this, the party should support economic struggles and be prepared to absorb and deconstruct such compromise, as such struggles can extend the position of the proletariat towards a single, centralized and political form which transcends economic struggle, the political class party, which comes before the workers' council system, which arises only when an open struggle for power is taking place, and when there is room for replacing executive and legislative organs of a bourgeois state, as such conditions only arise when a revolutionary party is in play and objective conditions are ripe. This party needs to be of a completely new type of organization, which capitalism does not naturally produce or impose, else it crystallizes the historical or current society into the future and limits itself and its dynamism. It is the only form of organization that can unite, train, and organize the vanguard of the proletariat and the whole mass of the working people, extracted from the class. It is able to do this because it can defend itself from petty bourgeois vacillations or prejudices between different autonomous groups within the proletariat. Any immediatist organization's contact with these semi-proletarian and petty bourgeois classes leads all of them to invariably back into capitalism, not the dictatorship of the proletariat. Ultimately, the revolution is and has been ready for over a century now, but the people are weighed down by insecurity and lack of belief. Eventually, though, it will be a question of revolution or barbarism, socialism or extinction. In preparation for this, the proletariat will need to create its weapons with which to wage class war, revolutionary theory, and an international communist party without frontiers. And that is my summary of Bordiga's The Fundamentals of Revolutionary Communism. As usual, if you'd like to go over the quotations I derived this summary from, you can go to the description below and find a link to this Google Doc. In addition, there's a link to the United Marxist Pact Discord server if you'd like to talk about this text or any of the other ones within this or any of the other series, we would love to have you. Tomorrow we will be going over the 1960 piece by Che Guevara on revolutionary medicine. Thank you for joining me for today's topical summary, and I hope to see you then.